everyone, my name is Courtney. I'm with Hands in Autism. I'm a special education support specialist trainer, and to celebrate our Art Expo week, I am going to do some art with you, but it can also be used outside as a bird feeder. So let me go through a few of the things that you're going to need before we get started so that you can work along with me. The actual bird feeder, I'll show you what it looks like first, will be a little heart with circle-shaped cereal, and it's hung by some sort of string or yarn. Let's see. So the first thing that you're going to need is a pipe cleaner. And mine is about 18 inches long. That's about, the best size, I would say. Mine is white, but yours can be any color is fine. But just be super careful of the ends because they are sometimes sharp and pointy. You are also going to need a piece of string or yarn or something to tie your bird feeder onto the tree. So to measure it, I usually go from the tip of my finger to the end of my arm. That's about the size of string you're going to want. So far we've got the pipe cleaner, any color, and then the string or yarn about the length of your arm. You are probably going to need to use scissors to cut the yarn, so you can have an adult do that or you can do that. And then you're going to need some sort of cereal that's in a circle shape with the middle cut out. I chose Cheerios because it's not very sugary, but you can choose Fruit Loops or Apple Jacks, whatever kind that you have at home. It doesn't have to be brand name. It can be any sort of brand you want. But I'll show you here. I put a couple handfuls on a napkin on my table so that they don't roll all over, and you can pick them up easier. So to start our bird feeder, you're going to take your pipe cleaner and you're going to match the two ends together at the top, and then just kind of pinch these together at the bottom so it stays. But remember, these top parts are a little bit pokey, so be super careful. And then I'm going to spread them out a little bit, but I'm still going to hold the end down here. And I'm going to start with my cereal, threading them on each side. And a super fun math game would be to guess how many pieces of cereal are going to go on your bird feeder. And the one that I showed you earlier, I counted them. And so at the end, I'll tell you how many pieces of cereal are on my bird feeder. But right now, be thinking about how many might be on that bird feeder while you're stringing on your pieces of cereal. This takes a little bit of time. But the reason I'm showing you how to do this today is because it's spring, except for yesterday it snowed, so it didn't feel like spring. But we were outside of our house and putting up our own bird feeders, and I came across this activity, and I thought, oh, that would be a fun art expo activity to do. So this not only is art, but it's also functional. So you can do this all year long. Once the birds eat all of the cereal, then you can go out and get your pipe cleaner and fill it back up. So and then when we get to, I'd say, I don't know, about an inch or so at the end, I'm going to stop so that it gives me a little bit of room to curve it to make our heart shape. So I'm going to stop around. I might put one more. About right here. So that's about the tip of my pinky. And I'm going to curve it a little right now so the cereal does not fall off. Okay, kind of like a candy cane or a hook. So now I'm going to go to the other side. Be thinking about how many pieces of cereal might be on my other bird feeder. So far, just a recap, you only need one pipe cleaner of any color. You need a string or piece of yarn or twine to hang your bird feeder, and it's going to be about the length of your arm, and I'll go through this at the end. And then some sort of cereal that has a hole in the center so that you can string it onto the pipe cleaner. It just takes a little bit of time to string them on. And then again, I'm going to leave about, I don't know, the tip of my pinky at the end so that I can curve it in to my heart shape. So I've got that little piece, and then I'm going to grab each end and I'm going to curve it in so that they touch like this. And I'm going to twist them together so that they stay together. See if you can see that. Probably not. We're twisting them. Be really careful if you're doing it on your own so that you don't poke yourself. And then I'm going to kind of shape it into a heart. So there's my heart bird feeder, and now we need to add the string. And I have this piece of string, it's about the length of my arm, and I'm going to thread it through this heart. I like it when it's off a little bit like that. And then an easy way to tie these together is to put the ends together. See if I do that. And then you're going to wrap it around your finger. It's just wrapped around my finger. And then you're going to push both ends through that little hole. And pull. So that is my little bird feeder. Another way you can do it if you want to make your bird feeder bigger is put two pipe cleaners together the full length and twist one of the bottoms so that you have these two long sides. And I've already started to put cereal on the one side because it takes a while. And then I can show you. Leave a little bit at the top just like we did the other one and curve it so they don't fall off. And then I'll do the other side. It's a little bit harder to manage because they're bigger. But you're just going to thread on the cereal just like we did the little ones. This is just two pipe cleaners twisted together at the bottom. We're just making a bigger heart bird feeder. And then I'll tell you how many pieces of cereal were on my original little heart bird feeder. See if you got it right. takes the longest part. So out at our house, we have a few different types of bird feeders because birds, just like us, eat different kinds of food. So some of our bird feeders have like the seeds and the nuts, and a couple of them have like a sugary liquid, and those are for hummingbirds, and hummingbirds have these long beaks and their wings flutter really quickly. You can almost not see them flying. But those long beaks drink the nectar that is inside those bird feeders. It's like sugar water, and because they don't eat the seeds and the nuts that the other birds do. So we have a few different kinds of bird feeders out there. Let's see how we're doing. You're doing a really great job hanging in there. Putting these pieces of cereal on these sometimes can get frustrating, but you are doing a great job putting the pieces of cereal onto the pipe cleaner. And if you need help, you can always ask an adult or someone that is close to you for help. And this is something that you can give a gift to your mom for Mother's Day, or a grandparent, or a neighbor, or a teacher. If your teacher has a window in their classroom with a tree outside, you could give that to them. And then maybe your class could watch the birds. Almost done. And then maybe you could teach your class or your siblings or your parents or your grandparents or wherever you are how to create these bird feeders. Almost done. Pretty close. So like I said, the materials that we need or that we are using are pipe cleaners of any color, cereal that has the circle in the center so that you can string it onto your pipe cleaner, and ribbon, string, or yarn of any kind. So I'm going to twist them together in the center again. This is just a bigger one, just like the small. So you're just twisting. Be really careful. You might need an adult help for that one. Then I'm going to shape it into the heart. And then this time I'm going to use, I got some other yarn. It's like, or string, red, white, and blue. I'm going to loop it through the side, and like I said, to tie it easily, you put the ends together, you loop it around your finger, and then you just push both ends through that and pull. And here's the bigger one to hang in the tree. And then here was our little one. So the amount of cereal that I have on my bird feeder is 43 pieces of Cheerios. That's how many are on here. So just to recap really quick. To make the bird feeder, you need a pipe cleaner of any color. You need some sort of string, ribbon, or yarn about the length of your arm. And you also need some type of circle cereal to thread onto your pipe cleaner. And that's it. That's all I have for you. I hope you get lots of birds in your yard eating off of your bird feeder. And happy Art Expo week. And we will see you later.